In 2 days, February is over and we welcome the month of March. Handa na ba ang lahat? Nako, yan nga ang tanong. But before that, let's see the stories that continue to develop as this month winds down. Ako po, si Denise.
Ako naman po si Lourd de Veyra. The best defense is a good offense. Ika nga. Mamaya magkakaalaman kung si Kaufman ay abogadong may sense. At kung sulit ang bayad sa kanya na 150 million a month na expense. Dito ka na lang sa programa na pro bono ang like. Ito po ang Afternoon Delight.
Okay, again, as
Kulay lupa ka ngayon
Grabe naman yung kulay lupa. Oh.
Earth. Kulay earth. Ayan.
Parang medyo rusty brown ang ganyan.
Kulay kalawang.
Oo.
Mas pangit pakinggan, di ba?
Lupa at kalawang. Pwede namang
Tama.
Paano ba natin papagandahin yun?
There's a word that it's on the tip of my proboscis na mamaya
Sige, mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. Pero ngayon, it is Thursday, as mentioned, the last Thursday of February, actually. And let us know in the comment section how your month has been so far. Maiksi lang ang buwan natin. And if you have any plans for the next month.
Oo. Mga gwapo pinapanganak sa buwan ng kulang-kulang ang mga araw.
Na-witness ko naman yan, di ba? Sino ba mga kilala mo nag-celebrate this month?
Atty. Mel, Santa Maria. Ay, hindi kulang yun. Labis ang karunungan ni Atty.
Oo naman. Okay, sige. Madami tayong pag-uusapan ngayon, especially since today, it is a continuation of the confirmation of charges hearing for former President Duterte.
This time, the side of the defense, we will be hearing that. They're given 3 hours daw. Ako, para ilatag lahat naman ang kanilang depensa. Again, hindi pa to trial. Ito lang ay latagan ng mga ebidensya. Okay. So, then we see stories making headlines at this hour, beginning with allegations about payoffs to big-name politicians, again, in suitcases. Even President Bongbong Marcos is implicated in the money transfer conspiracy. Now, no less than his big sister, Senator Amy Marcos, wants the controversy investigated. Here's the report.
Of the 18 individuals who introduced themselves as former soldiers and Marines allegedly serving as political bagmen, most were reportedly dishonorably discharged from service. Based on official records, the Philippine Navy confirmed that the majority were removed from service under dishonorable conditions, while some were able to retire in good standing. The Navy also clarified that 2 of the individuals were never members of the Philippine Navy or the Philippine Marine Corps. According to Attorney Levy Baligod, this was also reflected in the affidavits of the individuals.
The 18 never claimed that all of them belong to the Marine Corps. 2 of them, in fact, in the affidavit, in my possession, claimed that they were former Army, not with the Philippine Marine.
However, during an interview with Storycon, Baligod appeared to backtrack on some of his earlier statements. He insisted that he never said $2 million had been sent to the International Criminal Court from the alleged bagmen.
There is nothing in the affidavit, and also I did not say anything that the $2 million went to the ICC.
But in the press conference a day earlier, Baligod said the bagmen were allegedly instructed to exchange the contents of 2 suitcases, each containing 56 million pesos into US dollars, equivalent to about $2 million. He earlier claimed that the money was being prepared for the arrival of foreigners, later identified as ICC investigators.
Ang sabi ng mga executive assistants ni Ginoong Saldico ay pinaghahandaan daw nila ang pagdating ng foreigners. At kalaunan ay nakilala ng mga ito na ang foreigners na binabanggit ay mga ICC investigators.
Baligod also maintained that money was allegedly given to former Senator Antonio Trillanes in connection with the ICC investigation into the case of former President Rodrigo Duterte, though he did not specify the amount. He further alleged that accommodations and expenses of certain individuals were paid for, which he described as corruption and bribery. Trillanes has already denied the accusations. Malacanang has also dismissed the claims, including allegations that suitcases of money were delivered to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The palace said it's leaving the matter to the NBI and PNP for investigation.
Lousy script, hindi pang award-winning, hindi malinis, alam mo na may kasinungalingan.
Also named as an alleged recipient of money was MMDA General Manager Nicolas Torre III, who was reserved comment pending proof.
Kasi hindi nga natin alam kung yan ay kaya nilang isubstantiate at tataasan nila ng kamay para sila ay mag-subscribe dyan.
Meanwhile, Senator Army Marcos has filed a resolution seeking a Senate investigation.
Kung may paratang, ilatag ninyo ng malinaw. Kung may ebidensya, ilabas ninyo ng buong tapang. Kumbaga sa maleta, mananatiling sekreto ang laman niyan kung hindi ilalatag sa lamesa at bubuksan. Dito natin buksan sa Senado at suriin ang maleta ng katotohanan. Hindi maaring trial by publicity ang mangyari.
Meantime, Attorney Levy Baligod admits an error in including ML Representative Leila de Lima as one of the recipients of suitcases of cash. In an interview with True FM's Ted Filon and DJ Chacha, Baligod said it may have been an oversight on his part. He added that de Lima was only listed because she was seen attending meetings related to the International Criminal Court. Still, Baligod insists that the former senator did receive a paper bag that could have contained between 5 million to 10 million pesos. De Lima since called the allegations preposterous.
At totoo po yun na 2025 lang siya, no? Pero ang binabanggit kasi nila noon ay nakakasama siya sa mga meeting pagpatungkol sa ICC, no? Kaya nilagay ko na lamang siya sa mga miyembro ng Congress. Pwede pong error yon, no, on my part. Pero I want to make it clear at this point na it could be an oversight for me na nasama siya doon sa listahan ng mga Congress members that created the impression na nabigyan din siya ng mali-maleta.
Other lawmakers being implicated in the alleged money delivery scheme are also incredulous. Here's a report from News 5's Marian Enriquez.
Several lawmakers have denied allegations that they received cash from former Congressman Zaldico, as claimed by 18 former soldiers. In an unsigned affidavit, the former soldiers allege that they were instructed to escort and deliver suitcases of cash to certain congressmen. Most of those named are lawmakers who served during the height of the Quadcom and good government hearings involving pogos, extrajudicial killings, and confidential funds linked to Vice President Sara Duterte. Among those named is Mamamayang Liberal Party List Representative Leila de Lima, who firmly rejected the allegations. She described the claims as absurd and a demolition job. De Lima also questioned the timing, which coincided with a confirmation of charges hearing against former President Rodrigo Duterte at the International Criminal Court and impeachment proceedings against Vice President Sara Duterte. Former Makabayan Bloc Representatives Franz Castro, Arlene Rosas, and Raul Manuel also denied the allegations, calling them baseless and aimed at discrediting legitimate efforts to uncover the truth. They said the claims were politically motivated, designed to portray the investigations against the Dutertes as partisan, a classic Duterte playbook. Even Manila 6th District Representative Benny Abante rejected the allegations, emphasizing that he would not be deterred by fabricated claims and would continue to fight for justice. Other House leaders dismissed the allegations as delusional and nonsense.
Mahirap talaga pag meron kang sariling mundo. Dilulu. Dilulu tawag sa mga ganyan. So, hindi natin masyado binibigyan ng pansin dahil wala naman pong katotohanan doon. So, yun lang po. Huwag tayong dilulu.
It's all BS. I'm sorry. They don't even deserve a decent response from me. But what I can tell you is those who are behind their supposed press con, they have not achieved anything but present themselves as National Marites Council.
And it's day 3 of former President Rodrigo Duterte's confirmation of charges hearing at The Hague. After opening statements and a detailed presentation of prosecutors, it's the turn of the defense team to lay down their case. 3.5 hours will be given to Duterte's lawyers, the longest block for any party during the 4-day hearing. Led by lawyer Nicholas Kaufman, the defense is jumping off from Monday's appearance when they alleged the political prosecution of Digong. So far, prosecutors have showed documents, speeches, and alleged command structures linking Duterte to a nationwide system of killings tied to the drug war. The confirmation of charges hearings wrap up tomorrow, February 27, after which ICC judges will have a maximum of 60 days to decide whether the case is dismissed, will be remanded, or will proceed to trial.
Again, Mr. Duterte's confirmation of charges hearing are on the halfway point, and on Wednesday, during the break-in proceedings, the prosecution team gave an assessment of the first 2 days, and One News anchor who's now in The Hague, Angela Lugunzad Castro, filed this report.
Sa press conference ng legal representatives ng mga EJK at drug war victims kahapon, nilinaw nilang sinadya ng prosecution team na gawing sentro ng presentasyon ang tunay na kwento ng mga biktima. Sa ganitong paraan daw, mas maiintindihan ng mga hukom ang tunay na nangyari.
Our aim was for the victims to feel part of this process, to feel really part of a story and part of a process of justice. And it is in this way that we presented our own speeches and our own observations before the chamber.
Kumpiyansa rin sila na malakas ang naging presentasyon ng prosecution team sa merito ng kaso laban kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte.
It went very well, no? And sobrang impressive, especially yung presentation ng prosecution. Kasi makikita mo sobra silang systematic. Every fact that they allege, merong ebidensya, no? They refer to tab numbers, so and so. So makikita mo, no? In fact, from what I've known, they even document how they got all this evidence, no? So talagang preparado sila, not only for the confirmation of charges, but really for the trial and to really convict the former president beyond reasonable doubt.
Nakausap naman daw ni Attorney Gilbert Andres ang mga biktima matapos ang ikalawang araw ng confirmation of charges hearing. At masaya raw ang mga ito sa tinatakbo ng pagdinig.
Their stories were really shown before the chamber as well as before the world. That they're real human beings, they suffered and their loved ones were really murdered and they're still suffering until now. And they were very joyful as to what transpired during the second day, especially their stories were really shown before the chamber.
Ngayong araw, maglalatag ang legal counsel ni Duterte ng kanilang ebidensya. Inaasahan na raw nila na igigiit ng Duterte camp ang policy ng dating Pangulo at maglalatag din sila ng dokumento.
Again, we in the legal representative for victims believe, and we have stated during our submissions, that the prosecution has presented enough evidence to show substantial grounds to believe that Mr. Duterte committed all of the 3 charged crimes against him.
Sumagot din ang mga abogado ng mga biktima sa alegasyong tumanggap ng pera ang ICC mula sa flood control project.
ICC is an independent international tribunal. The Office of the Prosecutor is an independent organ, so it will never receive funds from any state government. And then actually, the ICC always protects its image as well as its independence. Kaya I think that's fake news.
Para naman sa kampo ng dating Pangulo, hindi kumpleto ang iprinisenta ng prosekusyon.
Tinatapos ba nila yung words ng dating presidente? Patayin natin, pero tinatapos, you go. Do not go beyond the law. Otherwise, you're worse than criminality. Basahin nyo lahat yung mga pinagsasabi.
Samantala, pinayagan ng ICC Pre-Trial Chamber 1 na huwag nang dumalo si Duterte sa detention hearing review sa Biyernes.
One of the Duterte drug war's alleged co-perpetrators, as designated by the ICC, was spotted somewhere in the Philippines. Senator Bato de la Rosa was seen praying at a church as pre-trial proceedings of his former boss are underway. His wife, Nancy de la Rosa, shared the photo on her social media account. She did not specify when or where the photo was taken. The senator has been absent from Senate sessions since reports emerged that the ICC has issued an arrest warrant against him.
Ano kaya pinagdadasal niya? Meantime, Senator J.V. Ejercito has confirmed that the Ethics Committee will hold an executive session on March 4. The session will cover the initial vetting of 6 pending complaints. And for more details, we talked to our mobile journalist in the Senate, Merrimon Reyes. Merrimon, kasama na ba doon sa complaints na ito yung laban kay Senador Bato de la Rosa?
Lourd, Denise, ang sabi ni Senator J.V. Ejercito, chair ng Senate Ethics Committee, yung magiging executive session nila by March 4. Actually, una niyang sinabi by March 10 kasi puno raw yung committee rooms, so pumipila sila sa kung ano available room pwede nilang magamit. They were lobbying first kung pwedeng magamit yung isang press conference or yung isang conference room, pero na-authorize naman na raw sila ni Senate President Tito Soto to use one of the conference rooms for March 4. And yung executive session nila, ang pinakatututukan nila is yung adoption of rules and yung pagsusuri na ng mga nakalobby or yung mga nakabinbin na mga ethics complaints sa kanila, and that may precisely also include yung final na ethics complaint kahapon ng civil society group na huwag kang kokorrupt against Senator Bato de la Rosa. And though hindi pa na masyadong nagbabanggit sa ibang mga detalye ito sa Senator JV, ito kasing ethics complaint na final ni na Professor Shelo Magno. Ang nais nila dito ay mag-conduct nga ng pagsisilip ang Senado sa kanilang rules, sa mga guideline nito, lalong-lalo na tungkol sa 3 months and probably counting more na continuing or continued absence si Senator Bato de la Rosa dito sa Senado. So ang sabi ni Professor Shelo Magno, kung para daw sa kanya, yung magawa na or ma-implement yung no work, no pay. Kasi if you're gonna compare it daw to ordinary Filipino laborers, pagka hindi lang daw pumasok sa trabaho, lalo na for a long period of time, hindi naman daw nakakakuha ng sahod, pwede daw masuspend or worse, matatanggalan na ng trabaho. So yan yung ilan sa mga asahan natin na isasalang by next week.
Actually, hindi nga lang compared sa ordinaryong mamamayan. Merrimon, na kumpara nga yan even kay Senator Bongo, no, na tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman daw na nagpapakita. But I wanted to ask also, ano ba yung coordinating, ano ba yung pwedeng maging parusa in case makita ngang meron siyang ginagawang paglabag sa kanyang duties because of his absence?
Ang nasabi kasi last time ni Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson, technically wala pa talagang wala pa talagang nalalabag or violation itong extended absences si Senator Bato de la Rosa. Pero so far kasi sa pagkakaalam niya, pagka sa committee rules, kapag extended or continued yung absence, pwede raw matanggalan ng committee membership. Sa plenary, parang wala pa raw ganitong rules. Kaya it's either the ethics committee will be looking into it or kung magkakaroon ng ethics complaint filed against Senator Bato. So doon din pwedeng magkaroon ng move forward. Plus, yung pag-uusap din daw ng mga senador tungkol nga sa nababanggit na no work, no pay scheme. Ang isa pa sa probable na maaaring i-consider din dito ng Senado ay yung tungkol din dun sa kanilang sa staff ni Senator Bato de la Rosa. Kasi sa pagtatanong naman natin, while physically absent dito si Senator Bato, yung staff ni Senator Bato, tuloy-tuloy naman yung operations ito, yung office nila. And mapapansin din natin sa ilang mga dokumento na lumalabas o umiikot dito sa Senado, may e-signatures din from Senator Bato de la Rosa. So, ang sabi ni Senator Ping, itong technicalities, ito yung mukhang kailangan nilang isa-isahin, and they also have to go back sa rules ng Senado para makita kung ano ang pwedeng applicable sa case na to. But then again, sinasabi ni Senator Ping, wala siyang moral ascendancy to say or to talk more about continued absence or physical absence from the Senate kasi nagkaroon din siya ng almost same experience during a past administration.
Honest, wala na yata makakaalala nun eh. Oh, pero Merrimon, kasama rin ba sa tatalakayin, hindi ba may isang private citizen na nag-file ng ethics complaint against the chair of the ethics committee?
Well, oo, yan ang ayaw kasi ni Senator JV magbanggit talaga doon sa nitty-gritty sa itong mga ethics complaints. Basta ang sure siya, kapag may ethics complaint laban sa kanya, at ito kasi yung tungkol doon sa yung approach daw ng ethics committee na medyo mabagal pagdating sa ibang ethics complaints filed against other senators. Ang sabi naman ni Senator J.V. Ejercito, mag-i-inhibit siya from that ethics complaint kapag yung ethics complaint against him na ang pag-uusapan. Yung sinasabi kasing complaint na hindi raw agarang inaksyonan o pinroseso ng ethics committee ay yung ethics complaint naman laban kay Senator Jesus Cordero dahil sa umano'y pagtanggap nito ng campaign contributions or donations from a contractor. So, sabi ni Senator JV, kaya nga may members ang ang ethics committee from the minority, from the majority, pag nag-inhibit siya, iikot doon at yung mga desisyon magagaling din sa ilang mga miyembro. Pero for the others na kasi around 6 pang-anim yata ito sa Senator Bato na may ethics complaint na natanggap, pero hindi binabanggit ni Senator JV yung pangalan ng iba pang mga senador na may complaints kasi ang sinasabi niya baka raw it may be unfair. Plus, ang pinakatinitignan dito, yung mga ethics complaint, tatayo raw ba ito o kung mukhang bara-bara lang siya na complaint na lobby. Kaya yun yung mga pag-uusapan nila come their meeting next week. Lourd.
So tinagal-tagal lang wala pa rin mga ayaw pa rin i-detalye. So tinagal-tagal lang hinintay ng naging lang talaga sila nakapag-convene na kompleto, no? Marymon, tama ba?
Yes, oo. Pero ang una kasi explanation ni Senator JV, yung issue nga raw sa room. Pero ngayon naman, meron na silang magagamit na as authorized by SP Soto by next week. So March 10, naging March 4. Kaya hopefully maging tuloy-tuloy na itong pagkikita ng Ethics Committee kasi dumadami rin yung mga nabibinbin na complaints. And pero assurance naman dito ni Senator JV, lahat ipoproseso nila and they also come to terms kung alin ang uunahin nila sa mga ethics complaints.
Marymon, curious lang ako, when it comes to those executive sessions, kung may idea ka, no, usually ba, gaano ba katagal yung hinahaba niyan, depending kung gaano karaming complaints yung tatalakayan? Because yung optics lang, syempre parang yung Pilipino laging iniisip, merong complaints, hindi na-address, paulit-ulit na lang na storya. This might also affect public trust at this point.
Denise, nakadepende kasi yan sa magiging flow ng conversation or yung magiging agenda during the executive session. Though usually kasi ito ay closed doors na meeting. So for the ethics committee, silang mga miyembro ang nandyan. So kung ano yung magiging call nila sa kung ano yung uunahin sa hindi, yun yung maaaring maging navigation nila. Kung may mga concerns here and there na kailangan pang asikasuhin, pwedeng mapahaba yung executive session, or kung mapag-agrihan naman na nila kung ano na yung uunahin sa hindi, ano yung kailangan, ito ang priority sa hindi muna, or pwede munang for the meantime, waiting ka muna dyan, pwedeng makapabilis din naman yung executive sessions. Pero ang isa sa pinaka-inaantabayanan din natin is yung magiging hearing, should there be, or other info na mabibitiw ni Senator JV sa mapag-uusapan nila.
In short, abangers lang talaga tayo.
Abangers talaga.
Yes.
Paano nag-aabangers ang mga senador o paano sila nagmo-monitor ng mga dito sa mga confirmation of charge, yung mga nangyayari sa The Hague?
Well, Lourd, so far kasi yung ibang mga senator, wala pa tayo ibang nakukuhang insights or reactions from them. Pero ang CSP Soto kasi last time nung nakausap natin, tinanong natin, nung unang araw ng confirmation of charges kay former President Duterte sa International Criminal Court, ang sabi ni SP, di niya pa raw napapanood kasi marami-rami pa raw kinakailangan asikasuhin dito sa Senado, kaya medyo maghahabol pa siya, kakatch up siya sa nangyayari. Si Senator Robby Padilla, ang sabi niya dahil napabanggit daw itong kanyang kasamahan, si Senator Bato de la Rosa and Senator Bongo as co-perpetrators of the supposed war on drugs ng Administrasyong Duterte. Tututukan niya raw, papanoorin niya raw, babalikan niya raw yung nangyari na yon. Pero for Senator Bongo, same pa rin yung sinasabi niya, antabayanan daw muna na matapos yung confirmation of charges for him. Tuloy-tuloy daw ang kanyang trabaho, may mandato raw siya, kaya papasok siya dito sa Senado.
Pwede mag-suggest ka mo, Marymon, ng drinking game. Mamaya, di ba? Or sa prosecution sana, kung maglatagan ulit. Every time babanggitin yung pangalan ng isang co-perpetrator, sasat sila ng tequila. Di ba? Ganda yun.
Pwede rin naman, kung gusto nila. Actually, Marymon, gusto ko lang isingit mabilis. Itong si Senator Padilla, may reaction ba dun sa lumabas at nag-viral na reaksyon ng kanyang anak?
Hoy!
Mismo, dun sa pag siya daw tumakbo, aalis na lang daw ng bansa.
Sa pagtitingin natin, Denise, so far parang wala pa. Pero ngayon kasi, possibly meron pa naman kasing office ngayon ang Senado. Kaya kung sakaling makasalubong natin si Senator Padilla, susubukin natin makakuha ng reaksyon sa kanya. Pero ang sinasabi naman ni Kylie, it was purely humorous naman. He respects her father's decisions in the long run. Pero ito namang si Senator Robin Padilla, ang sinasabi niya naman kasi, Sa ngayon, ayaw niya naman kasi daw talaga ng politika, pero sinabihan daw siya ng dating Pangulong si Duterte na pasukin ito, kaya siya nagbibigay ng public service ngayon. Pero kung iuutos daw sa kanya ng dating Pangulo na to run for higher office, edi doon daw siya papayag. Pero naniniwala rin siya na meron ding hierarchy, especially sa Senate minority. And ang nakikita niya na kung sakaling may katiket itong si VP Sara Duterte for her presidential run, ang parang pwede raw si Senator Amy Marcos. So may hierarchy yun, either si Senator Amy Marcos, and then Minority Leader Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, Senator Bongo, parang nilalagay niya yung sarili niya sa dulo ng listahan sa ngayon.
Yung iba dati kasi, nag-aantay sila ng word or signal from God. Ito ngayon, pag si Pangulong Duterte daw, which probably one and the same thing sa kanila, no? Tingnan natin, abangan natin. Maganda, tumakbo rin siya ng presidente para masaya. Di ba?
Abang-abang na lang natin kung how it will all unfold.
The more, the merrier, ika nga nakasabihan. Alright. Mary Mon, okay, maraming salamat. May nakalimutan ba kami itanong? Mahalagang dapat talakayin sa araw na ito, Mary Mon Reyes.
Siguro, Lourd, yung isang update lang dito kay Blue Ribbon Chair Senator Ping Lacson na siya mismo magpapakonduct din siya ng preliminary checks or investigations doon sa more or less 18 na ex-marine men or ex-soldiers na naglabas ng allegations nila kahapon tungkol sa ilang mga individual daw na nakatanggap din ng suitcases na may laman na pera or kickbacks. Again, allegedly linked na naman kay former Representative Zaldico. And nakikipag-coordinate na rin daw itong Senator Ping sa Navy at saka sa Marine para masiguro din and ma-check din yung identity nitong 18 na nagbato ng allegations kahapon. So far, yan pa lang ang latest mula dito sa Senado. Balik sa inyo.
Si Senadora Amy, sabi niya dapat, investigahan talaga yan. Pero kasi, walang mga senador na pinangalanan doon sa listahan, Mary Mon.
Wala. Pero kahapon kasi ang resolution na final din ni Senator Amy is also calling for the Senate to conduct an inquiry on that. Pero yun din, nagkaroon na rin ng take itong Senator Ping para maimbestigahan. Plus yung timeliness daw nung pagbato ng allegations, yung accuracy nung supposed kickback, kung align ba to or pareho ba yung numero if you're gonna calculate it. And pero ang nasasabi naman ni Blue Ribbon Vice Chair Senator Erwin Tulfo, mukhang parang binayaran daw o inorganisa itong 18 para magbato lang ng mga alegasyon na wala raw saysay o wala na mga timbang talaga patungkol sa issue na ito.
Sakto pa, slow news din. Hindi slow news din. Maraming salamat sa ating mojo sa Senado, Mary Mon Reyes. Thanks, Mary Mon. Alright, time out muna. Marami pa kaming kwento sa inyo. Magbabalik po ang Afternoon Delight.
This is AP News Minute. Iran is resisting Donald Trump's pressure tactics before talks in Geneva on his nuclear program, alternating between calling his remarks lies to saying negotiations may yield an agreement through diplomacy. Iranian officials spoke as the U.S. deploys its largest military presence in the Middle East. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi received a rousing welcome from lawmakers in Israel. The Indian leaders started a 2-day visit with a speech to the Israeli parliament promising continued friendship, respect, and partnership. Dr. Casey Means, a wellness influencer allied with Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., says she aims to address the root causes of chronic disease if chosen as the nation's doctor. During her Senate confirmation hearing, she aimed to promote whole foods and criticized the whack-a-mole medicine system that only addresses symptoms. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers will resign from Harvard University amid a review of his connections to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Summers, mentioned frequently in the newly released Epstein files, will leave at the end of the school year.
Alright, this is still Afternoon Delight on One News. Ako po si Lourd Veyra.
At ako naman po si Denise. Magandang hapon pong muli.
Alright, on to the news. And in case you missed it, here's what happened yesterday on the 40th anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolt. Incidentally, anti-corruption rallies were also held February 25th, and the wrap from mobile journalist Arles de los Santos.
The EDSA People Power Revolution ended former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr.'s 2-decade-long dictatorship. Unlike in the past administrations, this year's anniversary is again simply being observed as a special working day. No holiday declaration nor special observance from the late dictator's namesake, now President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. But this did not stop various groups in remembering the peaceful revolution. Rallies were held across the country, including one at the EDSA Shrine, organized by Bayan and other progressive groups. As it was in 1986, people are still protesting the same issue, corruption.
Hanggang ngayon po, 40 taon na ang nakaraan, nandito pa rin ang korupsyon, nandito rin po ang paghihirap ng bayan, kaya importante po na may pasa na po ang anti-dynasty bill.
Sana po'y mabuhay muli yung diwa ng people power kung saan inangkin ng taong bayan ang kapangyarihan dito sa ating bansa. Inangkin natin ang responsibilidad na maging parte sa solusyon sa ating bayan dahil yun po ang kailangan natin gawin sa isang demokrasya.
The groups reenacted historic scenes from 1986 like the salubong of then Defense Chief Juan Ponce Enrile and AFP Vice Chief of Staff Fidel Ramos before marching towards the People Power Monument where the Trillion Peso March movement held its own program. Wednesday's EDSA commemoration was generally peaceful, except for a brief scuffle between bayan-led protesters and the police. Authorities barred the group from bringing a track platform as they marched towards the EDSA Shrine.
Ang problema, pagtipon namin kanina, ayaw na pumayag ng pulis. Kasi bawal daw ang truck sa EDSA. Kasi sabi namin, ito pa lang usapan namin kahapon. Sabi namin, mas magulo. Kung hayaan nyo lang basta pumasok ang tao na walang stage, walang sound system, eh yun daw ang utos ng nasa tao. Kaya ito nangyari. Naparahan natin ang matigas na hindi naman dapat. At ngayon, naghahabol ng pulis, bakit daw hindi ilagay ang stage? Eh sinangulo pa lang sila nagbawal ng stage. Diba? Malinaw ng usapan.
Students from various universities also took part in this year's EDSA commemoration. Those from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines in Santa Mesa walked out of their classes to join the rallies along EDSA. The 40th anniversary of the EDSA revolution ended with a program at the People Power Monument. As for the palace, there was no message from the president. But Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said President Marcos remains open to studying proposals to declare February 25 as a holiday again.
It's part of the history. Hindi ito mabubura. Hindi mabubura kung anong naganap noon, ang katapangan ng mga Pilipino, ang pagtanggap sa pangyayari. Hindi po yan mabubura sa history.
Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
And we now give you a quick rundown of more stories on One News. The Sandigan Bayan 5th Division is set to hold a preliminary conference on graft case against fugitive former lawmaker Zaldico and several public works officials. The case involves alleged irregularities in a 289 million peso flood control project in Oriental Mindoro. Co is still at large with its last location believed to be in Portugal. The Bureau of Customs has auctioned off 12 luxury vehicles, including 7 owned by contractor couple Sara and Curly Discaya. Also bid out were 5 cars from Pogo operators. Among the auction highlight was a Bentley Bentayga sold for 12.17 million pesos. A Lincoln Navigator went for 6.95 million pesos, while a 2022 Cadillac Escalade was bought for 6.62 million pesos and will be displayed in a Benguet museum. The Customs Bureau said the successful auction signals continued efforts to recover alleged ill-gotten wealth, with more luxury vehicles for disposal later.
All right, in news abroad, Vice President Sara Duterte said she sometimes wished she had stayed in local politics. And she, however, stressed that this does not mean she's letting go of her presidential ambitions in 2028. The details in this report.
Vice President Sara Duterte became teary-eyed at an event organized by the Philippine Association of Local Government Accountants in Davao City on Wednesday. She was especially moved upon seeing her former colleagues at Davao City Hall.
Pagkakita na ko sa ako ang mga kauban kanian ko sa City Hall. na nostalgic ko na ate na ko ang coming out sa Davao, sa Mindanao.
She even reflected on what it would have been like if she had run for mayor instead of vice president.
Nakaganina, nakauna-una ko sa ako ang kaugalingon. Kung sa kahaon, may dagan na lang ko o mayor. Wala na lang ko ni dagan o vice president.
The vice president then reiterated that she will run for president in the 2028 elections.
Pag dagan na ito, presidente, okay na na. Okay na nang pagdagan sa presidente, nagkasinabot na taan ng tanan na dapat.
In the end, VP Sara thanked the organizers for the invitation, noting that it also gave her the chance to return home and spend time with her family. For News 5, I'm Bril Montalvo. We are One News.
And at this point, we give you a quick look at stories from our media partners. The Philippine Star is reporting about the Court of Appeal saying Globe Chronicle Chairman Joseph C's continued detention is unlawful. The CA's Special 8th Division denied the appeal filed by the Immigration Bureau and the Office of the Solicitor General to deport C since he holds a valid Philippine birth certificate. The businessman was intercepted at the NAIA in August last year upon his arrival from Hong Kong. The BI claimed C misrepresented himself as Filipino when he is actually a Chinese citizen named Zhong Zhenchen. Meantime, on Business World, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is proposing to require all banks and non-banks to conduct a self-assessment of their cybersecurity maturity. That's amid growing cyber risks on digital financial and payment services and platforms. Now, for more details of these stories, you can visit the social media pages of the Philippine Star and Business World. Do check out as well the social media platforms of One News PH for the very latest news.
All right. This time, it's real. Over in the U.S., nako, ito partner, the longest recorded State of the Union address delivered by President Donald Trump. There, he insisted on having sparked an economic boom back home while imposing a new world order. Trump also vowed to plow ahead with his immigration crackdown and tariffs. He said, America is winning again. And here are parts of Trump's State of the Union address, courtesy of the Associated Press.
Tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement.
Intro sa kanya, parang wrestling eh. Presenting the winner of the first ever FIFA Peace Prize. The chairman of the Trump-Kennedy something-something.
Oo. Naka-hype na gano'n.
Hype talaga.
Oo.
Kulang na lang lalabas parang pang WrestleMania ang datingan.
Akala ko paglabas yung mga gano'n.
Pwede rin. Diba? Si Michael, ano pangalan ng rocker ba yun? Okay. So, pero medyo may mga ano na umulit-ulit lang. 108 minutes
Grabe, ano? 108 minutes. Pero yung pinaka-essence lang nun, basically, sinasabi niyo, no one has ever done this and whatever.
Oh, pampahaba. Yung go-to niya naman lagi.
Typical.
Pero iba yung buhok niya, kita mo.
Ano? Parang lighter?
Nag-iba na yung buhok niya. Oh, parang lighter, tapos mas maiksi yata.
Pag-usapan natin yan maya-maya. We just
Alright.
need to pause for another break right now. Again, this is still Afternoon Delight. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
February 26, 1993. In New York, a bomb built by Islamic extremists explodes in the parking garage of the World Trade Center. The blast kills 6 people and injures more than 1,000 others. More than 8 years later, the Twin Towers fall in the September 11th terrorist attacks. 1987. The Tower Commission rebukes then-President Ronald Reagan in its report on the Iran-Contra affair. It concludes Reagan failed to control his national security staff in the Arms for Hostages scandal. 1815. Napoleon Bonaparte escapes from exile on the Isle of Elba to begin his second conquest of France. His return to power lasts just months until he's forced to step down after losing the Battle of Waterloo. And
Excitement is building for the upcoming mystery thriller series Project Loki, set to premiere this February 21 on Viva One and Signal Play. Based on a popular Wattpad story written by Acosi Ibarra, the series follows Loki Mendez and Lorelei Rios as they solve puzzles, investigate cases, and uncover dark secrets within the halls of Clark University. Leading the cast is Dylan Minor as the observant and mysterious Loki, alongside Marco Gallio as his brother Luther, and Jade Avanzado as Lorelei Rios, a new transferee who brings new mysteries into the story. The buzz continued during a special screening of the pilot episode held for fans ahead of its official release.
Happy kasi finally Project Loki's airing on February 21. I mean, sa trailer pa lang sobrang ganda ng mga shots, ng scenes, ng cinematography. The cast gave it all talaga.
The series also marks another directing project for Sian Lim, who is more commonly known for his work as an actor, but has been expanding his career behind the camera since his first directorial stint in 2019.
What I'm nervous about at the same time, kasi of course, pag binabasa mo, your imagination is so vivid and colorful, but when you translate it on screen, you gotta add a little bit more. So that's where, I hope na I do a good job at, and I would say I'm pretty confident.
The cast also praised the show's cinematography and set design, hoping it can help elevate local productions.
It feels like with the cinematography, there was a lot of thought put into cinematography, into set design, and so it's exciting to see how it's going to look, how people are going to like it, and hopefully it can elevate the quality of the Philippines, cinematography.
For Jade Avanzado, taking on the role also meant stepping into a character she personally connected with.
Going into it, I was a bit nervous kasi my character is meant to be a bit more introverted and she's more of a quiet observer. Through the course of playing her, I've really found that we do share a lot in common, especially her willingness to see the good in people and yung empathy niya para sa mga tao at sa lahat ng mga tao na nakakasama niya.
Kapatid Denise Valdesancho, We are One News.
All right, you're still watching Afternoon Delight News. Thank you for staying with us.
And to address the elephant in the room, unahan na muna natin.
What
This
elephant in the room?
is the James Naismith Trophy that you're seeing. Ito po yung trophy na nakukuha whoever wins the World Cup. And alam natin, back in 2023, huli nating napanood yung World Cup here in the Philippines where Germany actually won that.
It's named after, of course, the inventor of basketball, si James Naismith, Dr. James Naismith. At ano ang significance ito ngayon sa ating harapan, Denise Tan?
Well, we have this here because as we know, Gilas Pilipinas takes the show or takes a basketball game to the Mall of Asia Arena tonight after a 2-0 start in the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup Asian Qualifiers. So maglalaban po mamaya ang Gilas Pilipinas kontra New Zealand. Again, that will be tonight at 7 p.m. at the Mall of Asia Arena. Pero may susunod pa silang laban on March 1 naman against Australia.
All roads leading to Qatar 2027 para sa FIBA World Cup. Okay, ito ay pure gold ba, balita?
Almost, oo. Almost entirely of gold with intricate details daw yan, inspired by shapes like Egyptian lotus flower and crafted by skilled silversmiths. Pero again, balikan lang natin yung laban. Catch select games live via the Pilipinas Live app, also available on One Sports, One Sports Plus, PBA Rush, and RPTV.
Hindi nyo nakikita, pero sa likod dito, nakalista ang lahat ng mga winners.
Yes.
Opo, ang pinakahuli ay Germany 2023. Tapos you go backwards, Spain, USA, puro USA, Spain, Yugoslavia, may Soviet Union noong
1982. Ang first winner is actually Argentina back in 1950 naman.
Manu Ginobili!
Parang hindi naman.
Hindi ka. Kasi si Barkley mahilig mag-ano.
Okay.
Sinasabi, Manu Ginobili, kahit wala si Ginobili sa game.
Pero sino kaya ang isisigaw natin the next World Cup? Pero that is a question that
it comes with its own security team.
Oo. At saka bawal hawakan to, ha?
Oo. Kala nyo, hindi. May force field to. At yung mahawak niya, nakagwantes pa talaga.
Naka-case pa yan. Isang beses nakita ko, I think sa isang radio show natin, nilabas sa kaha. But again, makikita po natin yan. And yan po ang paglalabanan ng ating very own Gilas Pilipinas team who will go up against New Zealand later on at 7 p.m. So konting notes lang, itong Gilas Pilipinas at Australia, they're both actually undefeated from window 1. They're both 2-0. And after a winless 0-2 start, New Zealand is looking for their first win here in Manila. So I suggest lahat po ng ating mga kababayan, punta po sa Mall of Asia, buksan yan yung mga TV screens, and of course, cheer your hearts out for Gilas Pilipinas. This is the first time this qualifying cycle that fans can watch Gilas play 2 straight home games at the Mall of Asia Arena.
Kausapin natin yung trophy.
Bulungan mo.
Maghanda ka, hahawakan ka ng Gilas.
Pwede.
Iinom kami ng champagne.
Ayun.
Galing dyan. Pwede ba yun?
Pwede ba yun? Pag nanalo?
Pwede.
Hindi, meron silang sariling trophy kasi. The winners get their own trophies.
Kahit ano.
Oo.
Tapos Gin ang ilagay dyan. O Red Horse.
Kahit anong pampasaya, Okay.
Schedules?
Schedule natin again, katulad po nung nabanggit natin kanina, Feb 26, that is today. Mamaya po kakalabanin ng Gilas Pilipinas ang New Zealand at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Sa
7:30?
ano ba talaga? 7
baba,
p.m. sa
7:30.
graphics natin
Pinoy time.
Pinoy time. Okay, sa March 1 naman po, that is on Sunday against Australia at 7 p.m. Sino magka-clarify sa akin? 7 p.m.
Time is a flexible concept.
7:30, I'm sorry. So the game
7:30.
tonight is 7:30 p.m. and the game on Sunday is also at 7:30 p.m. Okay.
Matatangkad yung mga yan, pero wala tayong pakialam.
Ay, ano bang sinisigaw lagi ng Gilas, di ba?
Puso.
Puso, oo.
Puso at trophy. Alright. Maghanda na kayo? Alright. So, pag hinawakan ba natin, ano mangyayari? Ayan,
O sige, mamaya natin kilatisan yan. Habang iniisip natin at hihingi tayo ng permission kung pwede ba talagang inuman to, let's take a quick break first. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Okay. Welcome back. And
Wala rin trophy.
Welcome back. You're still watching Afternoon Delight. Thank you for staying with us. And ngayon po, again, ang ating Delight of the Week, ang team natin pa rin ay may bagoong. And so our Delight of the Day would be bagoong rice with liempo.
Saktong-sakto. Tema natin kanina, may ginto sa harapan natin.
Oo.
Ngayon, may bagoong.
At ang una sinabi ni Lourd de Veyra pagkakita sa pagkain ay...
Love you. Yata. Love you! Oo. Paano ba kinakain? Paano ako kumakain ng bagoong rice?
Bagoong, ano?
Ng Thai bagoong rice pala.
Ano bang diferensya nun? Hindi ko alam eh.
Nakagawa ako dati niyan. Tapos nilutungan ko yung pork.
Ay, ang sarap.
Parang liempo. Pero kasi hindi siya simpleng liempo lang eh.
Oh.
May marinade siya.
Ano ba siya matamis-tamis? Dahil...
May konting tamis.
To, contrast niyo.
Tapos dapat medyo... Ano siya eh, pag sa street food sa Bangkok na iniihaw. Marion Ladja, mas alam mo to, sa amin. Tapos yung sausawa niya, yan mahalaga dyan.
Ako na-excite ako dun sa mangga. Parang ensalada.
Mangga lang pala kailangan mo.
Sa'yo na yung ulam ko.
Alright, here are some stories now on social media.
On the Philippine Star, one headline reads, Rights Group slams treatment of viral Japanese monkey punch.
Okay, sa mga first time mga kabalita nito, hindi sinusuntok yung unggoy. Si Punch ay yung pangalan ng unggoy at binubuli kasi siya ng mga kapwa niya unggoy.
Oo, nag-viral siya kasi Punch, the monkey, again, took comfort in an orangutan, parang plush toy. Dahil nga baby siya, tapos hindi daw siya parang inaccept nung kanyang mother, so parang siya ngayon yung pinagdidiskitahan. So,
isipin mo, even sa nature, may diskriminasyon talaga.
So,
it's an unfair world.
Oo. So, parang sinasabi nga nila na it's not a sanctuary daw, itong mga grupo nila.
Nag-expand yung argumento to condemn zoos. Kasi, to begin with, hindi naman, bakit kailangan pa ng ganyan? Diba? Ako, nalulungkot talaga ako sa zoos.
Talaga?
Oo. Huli ko kasi punta ng Manila Zoo, yung kaisa-isa nating giraffe noon, namatay pa. Kasi may nagpakain ng plastic.
Talaga?
Oo.
Pero di ba they said na mas maganda na daw yung itsura ng...
Oo, pero in theory, hindi kasi yun ang ano nila.
Oo.
Pero may mag-argue din na, marami sa mga yan, hindi naman raised in captivity sila. So pag nilagay mo sila sa wildlife, balik mo sa kanila, hindi nila ang gagawin nila. Actually,
the classic example is yung... Anong movie to? Yung cartoons na movie na parang they flew to New York.
Lion King?
No. Parang they're in a zoo, they got out, they flew to Madagascar.
Ayun ba yung plot nun?
No, but diba they kind of went into the city, tapos merong iba na sinasabi they don't really know how to survive in the city kasi they've been in the zoo all their lives.
Kasi nga, in-uproot sila. So, kung wala namang... Diba? Ano ba yung goal? Medyo kasi may cultural heritage na tong Manila Zoo kasi natin. Yan. Plus yung sa Malabon, private yun kasi inaalagaan talaga siya. Pero minsan kasi, I think yung zoo sa Maynila, yung funds niya ay nakadepende sa city government. Although, dakila naman yung doktor talaga, yung head vet no. Yung nga lang, nakakalungkot tingnan yung mga elepante. Sipin mo, yun lang ginagalawan nila.
Ikot-ikot. Masyado silang confined.
Oo. Sa internet na lang tingnan ng mga zoo, di ba? Yung mga hayop.
Mga hayop.
Kasi, unless ito ay magdudulot ng sunod na henerasyon na maunawain sa kapwa niya.
Actually, oo.
Hindi rin naman.
Baka nga dahil limitado pa. Diba?
Oo, pag nakita mo, yung si Mali noon, pag nakita mo talaga siya, yung mata talaga niya parang gusto ko nang magpahinga.
Ganon?
Kasi isipin mo, ilang taon wala siyang kasama.
Oo, nakakalungkot naman, walang interaction. Even
Kayo
animals
kaya, naalala ko sa Twilight Zone, may isang episode, baligtad. Napunta sila sa planeta na yung tao yung naka-display. Galing. At pinapanood sila ng mga alien.
Ayun. Sige, batiin na lang natin ngayon ang mga nanonood naman sa atin dito po sa Afternoon Delight via live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok.
Paano raw sinabi nung nanay ni Punch na tinatakwil siya?
Paano? Ano naman?
Ayoko kasi yung mukhang unggoy. Wala akong anak na mukhang unggoy.
Baon ka, ha? Okay, batiin natin ngayon si Marion Ladja, of course, Alex
Thank you, Marion,
Fuentes, Alvin Pusta, na nanonood din sa atin, si Jomar Canlas, as well as Henrik Val Oliva. Oo.
Henrik,
Ang sarap.
Yung tamarind sauce na may chili.
Sabi ni Henrik, birthday niya daw today.
Henrik Val Oliva, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Sabi sa'yo mga gwapo yung mga pinapanganak ng Pebrero.
Ayun.
Si Henrik Val Oliva ay nasa abroad yata.
Oh, hello, happy
Some
birthday.
expensive European country.
Ay, buti ka pa. Okay, sino ba binapati? Jinx89, nanonood din sa atin. Si John EK792, also watching us, as well as
Kasi digital womp-womp.
Perfect Complex. So, hindi ko pa nakikita. No? Esperanza Corazon, nanonood din sa atin. Si John Centelieses, hello.
Mike Policarpio, Tito Mike.
Tito Mike, oy, Prof. Mark Pasco. Si ano ba yung adobo? Rebo adobo. Di ba? May recall na ako. Tita Radel, Tita Jane Katapia, hello po.
Ayun, no?
Ay, may nag-comment. Torture ang zoo. Sabi, sa ano?
Oo.
Okay.
Awa.
Ano? Sige.
Nadidepress tuloy ako.
Huwag ka ma-depress. Enjoyin mo ang ating delight of the day. And
Sarap ng sauce.
magpaalam muna tayo sa ating mga viewers. That will have to do it for us last Thursday of February. Thank you for watching Afternoon Delight. Ako po, si Denise.
Nako, bisperasan ng weekend. Pero mahaba pa ang araw at ang linggo. Join us again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Lourd de Veyra, pangalan ko, kapatid. We are One News. All sides, all the time.
Have a delightful afternoon.
Ito magugusto.